Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
Mad Mob back at it again with part 2 of the Week 5 preview. Going to go over the 4 o'clock games, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night games. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Darnell Mooney! Wow!
And that's the episode. Thank you for listening.
Show. Let's just get into the show, Wayne. We don't need to stop and think about that.
Yeah, it's pointless. You know what though? If one of us is right, because you stood on Darnell Mooney. You stood on Darnell Mooney more than I hated on him. So I feel like if they were listening to that, listeners were more inclined to pay attention to you than me, because honestly, if you were just listening, you didn't even see the face I was making, so you rolled with it. So, I'm glad you hit. Because I guarantee you helped more people than I turned off of it.
Fair enough. Just feels good. Feels good out here.
It's all about the aggregate. As long as we're helping a higher percentage than we're hurting, it's all good.
What team does Darnell Mooney play for? I missed that game.
The Houston Oilers.
The Foolkins.
All right, boys. The first game we're going to go over in the 4 o'clock slate, Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go Raiders-Broncos. Devontae Adams out. How y'all feeling? It's in at Mile High.
Devontae Adams out.
Huh?
Zamir White also is questionable. He's limited all week with a groin injury in practice. Tyler Bidet, I believe it's pronounced. Bidet. Sean Payton noted that he's possibly a candidate for IR, so he isn't going to be playing in this game either.
To me, the only Raider I think I might play is Trey Tucker. He's the only one I'm considering, because Jacoby Myers is about to get the Surtain treatment. You don't want the Surtain treatment.
You don't.
But hear me out. I'm firing on my Alexander Madisons.
I'm not against it. Why is that?
They're going to be running the ball, dude. It's going to be a close game. The Raiders have been sneaky good. Alexander Madison has gotten good usage with Zamir White in the lineup. If Zamir White is out, I think he's going to be getting the bulk of the carries plus that receiving work, and could easily get you 15, 16 points out of that flex spot or RB2 spot. Playing my flag. I'm playing my Darnell Mooney on this game.
I like it. I'm definitely going to go against it. The Broncos have the 12th ranked rush defense in terms of yardage with 110 a game. They've only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns this year, and they have the 3rd ranked defense in terms of points per game given up at 13.8. Madison, I mean, he wasn't that good in Minnesota. I understand the volume play, and we're in the buys. We have buys, and injuries going on, so we just stand on opposite sides of the fence. So I hope you're right and I'm wrong on this one for what it's worth, bro. I'm out on Jacoby Myers, though.
That's just kind of weird, dude. The Broncos are only giving up over triple-digit rushing yards. We're not talking a top 10
run defense in terms of yardage to all running backs and everything. It's 12th ranked. They've only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns, so I don't expect them to get in. And the 3rd best defense in terms of fantasy at 13.8. I mean, that right there is under the projection you're giving.
Let me give you my outlook. I'm thinking 60 yards rushing, and I'm thinking 3-4 receptions for 20-ish yards. That's kind of my outlook.
It can happen. It definitely can happen. I'm just fading him.
That's fair.
I had a little bit of the work on Surtain as well, Beggs, that you mentioned him. He's shadowed the number 1 receiver in at least 52% of the games this season, being DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson. He's only allowed 9 receptions for 85 yards and no touchdowns. I'm with you. You would expect him to get the volume, but I don't see it there. I'm with you on Tucker if you have to start a wide receiver, but Brock Bowers probably, you would start Brock Bowers, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for the Raiders for me.
I agree with both of you. I have to start Jacoby Myers in a league this week. Literally, I'm not kidding. All my IR spots are filled, and everybody on my bench is out this week. So I don't have a choice in one of my leagues to start Jacoby, and I don't love it.
You know, Wayne, I'm rocking with you on the Madison pick. You know, our model has him like just outside of RB2 territory, and that's assuming Zamir plays. I don't hate it.
Can I offer up a doink, because the person that I love the most in this matchup right here, you're probably going to end up playing maybe anyways. I don't know. He's been on a few waiver wires. Javonte Williams. I like Javonte Williams a lot this week. You don't have to take the doink. A favorable over-under at 35.5 should allow the game script for him to get plenty of carries. And the Raiders' defense is allowing the 8th most fantasy points per game to the running backs at 26. So Javonte Williams probably my favorite play this week.
I mean, I'll take that doink. I'll stand on business. I'll stand on business with this one.
I think it's going to be pretty close. Really, I think it's whoever gets the touchdown. If McLaughlin snipes, Javonte's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind too, though. I mean, the Raiders got the inaugural Andy Dalton week, and Chuba Hubbard ran all over them, and then they played the Ravens dealing with Derrick Henry. So it's not like they've been getting run on by a couple schlubs. So yeah, you're exactly right. They do rank low, but I feel like part of that is Max Crosby's been out, and they've been dealing with some dogs on the other side of the football.
They'd be wild to trade away Max Crosby and that rumor that's going around with Devontae Adams, right? You don't trade away Max Crosby.
It would be the most ignorant thing that franchise could do. And Max Crosby is questionable going into this week. He hasn't been ruled out. So we'll see. I mean, but I'm with y'all. Michael Mayer's still out. They're not really saying why. I mean, his injury designation is personal. So I think if you got Brock Bowers, you're licking your chops going into this week.
Yep. You know, they traded Khalil Mack. It's not unprecedented for them to do something stupid.
That is true. They probably just don't want to pay Max, honestly. So just go ahead and ship him off before we don't re-sign him, kind of deal, you know?
I never understood that. I never understood not paying people because they're worth too much. Like, that dude is a dog. I mean, he anchors one side and just he gets to the quarterback, man, like by himself.
Yep.
And he hypes up the defense. That man is the heart and soul of that defense right there. So it's hard to have a great superstar player that's also a great locker room guy. It just doesn't happen a lot.
Not to mention a super underrated thing about him is he can literally fire up a blunt post-game and not get punished for it at all. So it's nice to have a guy that can just do whatever he wants off the field. Takes no punishment.
Play freely, loosey-goosey.
I'm going to give one more dart throw in this game. Dylan Laube, the backup running back, Raiders. Super deep dynasty leagues, worth $1. Worth the fab pickup. He's probably going to get some run. He might be good. Who knows? It's a running back. Other dart throw, I'm taking the Raiders spread plus 2.5. It's too good to be true. Everybody's going to be hammering the Broncos.
That's
the line's too low with Devontae Adams not playing. It's weird.
No, that's fair. Broncos have been playing
under.
good football too. Moving on. Cardinals, 49ers. 49ers at home. Any spicy ones on this one? We're obviously firing up the usual suspects. What do y'all have as far as something that we could be on the fence about?
I know. I have a question for you two. Are you going to play Brandon Ayuk this week? You all have him in the league.
Don't have a choice, man.
We don't have a choice, yeah.
But if you had a choice.
If I have...
Let's say you had Cortland Sutton. You were deciding between him and Cortland Sutton. Who are you going with?
Still Ayuk.
Probably
but
Ayuk
if I have like a Dontavion Wicks, I'm chancing the Wicks start over Ayuk.
Okay. Tyreek Hill or Ayuk?
Ayuk.
Really? I'm going to go Tyreek Hill on that one, but it's close. It's close.
Okay.
The breakout's got to come at some point, right? Like, it's got to get here.
It has
He
to.
hasn't been good.
Has to.
The Yeah, though, as far as anyone to really talk about in this game aside from the usual suspects, it's really I don't think you can trust Michael Wilson or Greg Dortch. Really, the only person I think is worth talking about is Juwan Jennings. Do you fire him up this week?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's almost to the point where he's just sitting there in my starting lineup. He kind of to me he's taken Ayuk's spot last year.
Until he cools off, you got to ride the hot hand, man. You don't walk away from a hot table.
I'm with you.
We do have Trey McBride back. So Michael Wilson, who was a streamy play last week, he's cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't really play him, honestly.
Okay.
Inconsistent. Too inconsistent.
And we still, at this point, the 49ers have too many questionable designations on defense that if those questionables turn into playing, then the Cardinals are going to be going up against a tough defense.
Yep. This one's straightforward, I think.
Yep.
You play your good players and you don't play your bad ones.
Yep. Next up, we got Packers-Rams at SoFi. I'm loving this Packers offense, boys.
It's explosive. I mean, they look like dog water for a half. But it's the Rams defense, so I want every Packer I have in my lineup.
True.
The Rams are porous.
Yeah. No Christian Watson, obviously no Cooper Kupp, no Puka. Demarcus Robinson he was limited in practice. He's questionable for Sunday. Do you fire up your Jordan Whittingtons or Tutu Atwells?
Maybe
who would you
Tutu.
pick between the two?
I'd pick
Tutu?
Tutu between them because he's just more explosive, more athletic. I think he's got a better chance of hitting the open field.
Beggs?
I probably go out well.
Atwell.
I
think I would take Whittington personally on this one. I'm with you 100%. This one is like the finest line ever for me. Whittington was a stud during the preseason. He got all kinds of work. And then, the season came along and he kind of got relegated to nothing. But he got some targets last week. He got 8 of them, went 6 for 62. Tutu Atwell, he's seen 5 and 6 targets each of the last 2 games, and he's gotten at least 82 yards. Like you guys said, he's a monster play guy. Green Bay gives up 11th most fantasy points per game at 35 a clip. And Jair Alexander has a groin injury and was a DNP earlier this week. So high over-under. I like both of them as flex plays, but if I had to choose one, I'd be on the Whittington side is all I'm trying to say.
I'm kind of the opposite. I think ideally I'm starting neither.
Going to have a doink for you. Sure. I have my favorite play of the week is in this game.
Okay.
Tucker Kraft. I think he outscores Jordan Whittington. Would you like to take that doink?
Yeah, I'll take it. That's fun. I'll take that.
If you're streaming tight end, I think he is my number one streaming play this week.
Unfortunately for you, though, Beggs, I'm pulling out the secret weapon, which is starting him in our Dynasty Warriors League, and you're doomed because any tight end that's ever been started on the Wolfpack Fantasy Squad guaranteed to put up less than 8 points. See,
not true at all, because as the week I played you all, Brenton Strange got a touchdown, so I don't want to hear it.
Strange Brenton.
Begley luck overrides Wolfpack luck, always.
Never. Typical suspects on the Packers side. We're firing up. Dontavion Wicks. He's a almost to the point of being an every week starter, right? With the injuries they're dealing with, or do we need to see more? Because we obviously saw a breakout game. He had a good game earlier in the year, but so we've seen two busts, two booms. How do we feel about him?
I mean, I want to hear your opinion, but
go ahead.
I think he and Dobbs are matchup dependent. I think Jaden Reed's the only guy you ought to start out of the offense, him and Jacobs.
I think if you got him on waivers this week, we mentioned him, we like him. Target share was up there. Again, with the high over-under, I like him for this game. I like him for a lot of targets. Rams give up 35, almost 36 fantasy points a game to the wide receiver position. It's 9th most. And Jaden Reed Jaden Reed doesn't really get, 10 targets a game. He may get close to 10 opportunities because they find ways to get him involved. Just get the ball in his hand and let him go. But I think if you were able to get Dontavian Wicks, you go ahead and play him this week if you need to.
Yeah, I think last week Jaden Reed was like 7 for 8 with 11 billion yards, and I think Dontavian Wicks was like 5 for 13 or something like that, where Jaden Reed was just way more efficient. But yeah, I mean, both obviously killed it. Green Bay -3, total 48.5.
I'm not touching it.
I don't want any part of this personally.
Yeah, I'm out as well.
Okay. All right, next up we got Giants Seahawks. Seahawks at home, -7, over under set at 42.5. No notable injuries that I can think of.
Singletary's out.
Malik Neighbors out.
And Neighbors.
Oh, Malik Neighbors is out.
Two big ones. Concussion protocol for Neighbors, and as Begley mentioned, Singletary will be out with the groin.
Yep. I mean, if you have Wan'Dale Robinson, you picked him up to play him in this spot. You're playing him, right? You're going to try to hope he gets 20 to 30 targets this game because it's very possible. I'm not playing Tyrone Tracy. I'm just not doing it. So it's Wan'Dale or bust for me on the New York side.
Sheesh. Adoree Jackson and Drew Phillips also questionable Sunday.
To me, the guy that I think is interesting is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right? What at this point is he just kind of taxi squad fodder? It's a good matchup.
I wouldn't go that far. He pretty much just ping pongs back and forth, man. He has a good game, then he has a bad game, then he has a good game, then he has a bad game. So are we on? I think we might be on the good game side. I think he had a bad game last week, so watch him blow up this week.
He's filling into that Tyler Lockett feast and famine role.
Yeah, that's vintage Tyler Lockett, honestly. Wan'Dale, as you already mentioned, dude, love him. I think he's going to PPR people to death this week. He generally plays out of the slot about 71% of the time. Puts him up against Devin Witherspoon, who covers the slot about 50% of the time. And he just got torn up by the Lions last week to the tune of 6 for 140 and a touchdown. Fire up your Wan'Dales. I think Tyrone Tracy, you don't like him. But people are starving for running backs out here, me included. I think he could be a sneaky play. He's rostered in only 6% of fantasy leagues. The Seahawks average 105 yards and a touchdown given up per game, and Singletary's gotten at least 15 opportunities a game for the season. So if those all go to Tyrone Tracy, maybe he sneaks in for a touchdown. You're probably going to want that to be happy for the day. Not all of us have Brees and Bijan on our squad. All right, chill out, man.
Is there not better options?
Dynasties, and it's rough, man. Some people also have deep benches for their redraft leagues. It's like I said, it's a sneaky play. It's not one you're gonna love or feel comfortable with, but if it's between starting him or
Zach Charbonnet, pick one.
Oh, him or Zach Charbonnet. I'll probably take Tracy on it.
Wayne?
I was gonna say Emmanuel Wilson. What about Emmanuel Wilson?
Tracy.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of starting him over like a number 2 guy, even though, Charbonnet's not really doing much if he's not the guy, right? He catches a couple times out of the backfield, but aside from that, when Kenneth Walker is playing, he's not, right?
Kenneth's the guy, but Charbonnet's got 40% snap share with Kenneth Walker, so he's getting on the field a decent amount. All right, so our rankings have Wan'Dale and Jackson Smith and Jigba right on top of each other. Wayne, who you like more?
Wan'Dale gets a lot of these just weird screen passes where they just kind of utilize his athleticism. So I think in PPR formats, he's going to do very well in standard formats. A, why are you still playing a standard format? B, standard format, he's probably not worth a start in my opinion.
The volume's too hard to ignore. He was like third most targeted receiver in the league, I think, coming into this week, and that's with Malik Neighbors on the field. Yeah. Sign this man up for 15 plus targets probably this week.
Yeah, sounds outrageous, but that's just how they target him. It's just a bunch of screens where they just try and Try and make it as easy as they possibly can for Daniel Jones.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Daniel Jones, at least, is not being talked about as being the worst quarterback in the league recently. So, I mean, it's working in that sense a little bit.
It's working enough.
Just not on the win column. It's not working.
Just not in the win column, but he's not playing egregiously bad and not hitting his number one pick of a wide receiver. That's how he's keeping his job. Just feed that man over and over and over and over and over.
Keep Malik happy.
Yep.
All right, boys. Well, what are we taking? Seattle -7. Over under at 42.5. I'm personally, I'd probably tease it down to 6.5, and I'm taking Seattle. The Giants are just, they're the defensive side of the ball. Just a lot of Qs, man. A lot of Qs.
Give me the Seahawks.
I probably fade the public and go Giants, but I don't. That's not a play I want to make.
Giants traveling west.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seahawks it is for me.
Sunday night, Cowboys-Steelers playing in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh -2.5. Total at 43.5. Steelers favored it.
Yeah, they should be.
No Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, we want Jalen Tolbert in this game. I think he has legit flex value because the slot receiver generally tears Pittsburgh up. You saw what Josh Downs did last week.
Micah Parsons out. DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously. I mean, he just got put on IR. You got
Bad.
Carson Steele and Trayvon Diggs questionable.
We're hurt, man. You play Tolbert, you don't play Dowdle, you don't play Zeke. And this is one of these weird games that the Cowboys will win. I can't explain it to you. We do best when we're underdogs.
I'm probably out on Jalen Tolbert. I feel you, but you're a Cowboys fan, so you know your stuff as far as that goes. I'm out. Steelers' pass defense has been phenomenal this year, and I don't want to roll the dice on any receiver not named CeeDee Lamb in this Cowboys offense this week.
I'm with you. I agree with you.
So,
yeah, you want George Pickens, especially if Diggs is out. We have a rookie corner. He's getting torched. I would play Najee, too. I would start Najee without hesitation.
Yeah, I think you definitely start Najee, especially with Jalen Warren out.
I think it's his best week of the season thus far.
Najee's? That's fair.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think
I would agree with that. Everything's kind of leaning in his favor this week.
Jalen Warren also missed practice Thursday and Friday.
He's out.
So
He's already been ruled out.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Get him all the carries.
Play your Steelers.
Are we gambling this one? Pittsburgh -2.5, over under at 43.5.
Under, if I had to take anything at all.
Cowboys +2.5. Not a homer pick, just typical Cowboy stuff.
I'm staying away. I don't like this one at all. Monday night, Saints Chiefs. The Kansas City referees against the Saints. Who do we like?
I don't know about this game, man. The Saints have cooled off a little bit. In terms of the spread, I gotta go Kansas City though.
-5.5.
Yeah, at home. They haven't been home in a while.
I'm staying away as far as betting purposes go.
Yeah,
I prefer. I'm going to take the over on this one. It's at 43.5. I'm going to take the over. This is one of the few games. I think last year we got absolutely killed going on the over, and all the unders were hitting. So I'm real leery of taking overs in NFL games. But this is just kind of screaming over to me. Alvin Kamara's been playing great. Patrick Mahomes, lackluster compared to what we expect out of him. 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this year. And honestly has been saved from a few more interceptions with penalties. So, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to be okay. We get to see Kareem Hunt finally unleashed, ready to roll. I think he's going to be. We've all talked about Kareem Hunt already. We think he's going to be have an immediate fantasy impact. I'm firing up a lot of them. Travis Kelsey with Rasheed Rice out. I think he has a good week. I'm really liking the over on this one. You know, Chris Olave. Anybody else we're liking on the Saints?
Got to
I think-
play Shaheed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Rashid Shaheed is worth firing up as well. Kamara, obviously, but I think Rashid Shaheed is a guy you can play.
I think you have to play him, but I think you got to temper expectations. The Chiefs' defense is elite.
For real. They really are.
Good.
I know my answer on this. Do you guys take a gamble on any wide receiver this week for the Chiefs to throw out there?
No.
No, because who are we thinking here? Juju?
It's Juju, Worthy, and what? Watson? Justin Watson?
Man.
I'm with you. For me personally, it's a wait and see week. See how it's distributed. I mean, it might even be a wait and see week next week because it can just be one of those things where Justin Watson gets 9-10 targets this week and everyone rushes to pick him up on the waiver wire, and then it's Juju's turn next week. Just one of those roulette kind of things with Kelsey being the constant and expecting Kareem Hunt really to touch the ball a lot.
And I think me and Goni have been battling people on the old fantasy forums on Xavier Worthy. I think everybody thinks Xavier Worthy is going to be the next Tyreek Hill, and he's just not. I mean, I'll play my flag. He's absolutely not. He's a one-trick pony. He's a burner. He's going to get you. He's going to show up on SportsCenter top 10 getting a 60-yard downfield touchdown catch, but that's
or like an end around or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
just jet sweep.
He's not going to be absolutely breaking ankles with his routes. He's not going to be a really dependable guy at the second level. He's going to have games. He's going to have games where he busts out one, maybe two big touchdowns. But you know what? I'll risk it, and he can go ahead and get those on my bench. Personally,
he's got the same separation score as Justin Watson. He's averaging.
He's gonna get his. It's just gonna be so infrequent, and it's gonna be so hard to predict that it's just not worth a fantasy start unless it's a deep 2-flex 12-team league, in my opinion. At least not yet.
Yeah. I think this is a 20-point week for Kelsey. It's a really good matchup against the Saints already. He's got to catch it, right? Who else are they going to throw to?
There's been a lot of hate on the Chiefs too. They're 4-0 and they're still getting hated on. I think they try and blow the top off this week.
That's fair.
That is the last of the games. We got the Lions, Titans, Eagles, and Chargers all on a bye this week. So we'll see them next week. New little miniature segment here. The Mad Fantasy Parlay. Each one of us are going to pick a leg that we love the most, and we're not going to divulge each other's legs until right now. So I don't know what their legs are. They don't know what mine is. So we'll start with Begley. What's your leg in the 3-leg Mad Parlay?
I love the Jets. That is my lock. I'm going to put everything in my DraftKings account on it. It's too good to be true. They should not be getting. The line should be closer to 4 to me. So give me the Jets.
Jets money line. Jets money line or Jets points?
It's spread.
Plus 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too low.
Gonjamin.
Give me the Patriots under. Give me Patriots, Dolphins. Give me the under 36.5. I said this earlier in the week. I'll probably say it many more times in the future. Our offense isn't good. Our defense is all right. Miami's defense is really good this year, and Tyler Huntley getting his first game last week did not look very good. He can't move the ball. Fading Tyreek Hill this week. I'm personally not playing him in one of the leagues that I own him, and I just feel like this divisional matchup also. They're going to end up beating us, the Dolphins, no matter when we were at the height of our prime. Dolphins always won game a year, at least one. I expect them to win both this year. Give me the under.
I like it. My leg is Jordan Mason to find the end zone. Jordan Mason touchdown. going against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' defensive line is ranked dead last against the rush this year, and they have given up a rushing touchdown in every single game so far this year, like Jordan Mason to find pay dirt.
That's our juice right there.
That's the juice. That's the prop. Jordan Mason anytime touchdown.
I like it.
All right, that's it, gentlemen. Everybody, best of luck this week in your fantasy matchups. We're always available on our Facebook page, Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. If you have any questions, submit your lineup to us. Let us know where you got a question mark. We're on Facebook every day. We'll help you out right up until game time, right up until kickoff. Until then, we will see you all Tuesday morning, bright and early, for our waiver wire episode for Week 6. We're out.